Hello and welcome to the Couch on Zimbabwe's Television Network, the show that goes deep into football issues. Here we celebrate our stars, interrogate issues, and seek accountability. My name is Howard Msonza.
And I'm Shamisha Sweka. Please remember to follow us on our digital platforms. On Facebook, we are Zimbabwe's Television Network. On YouTube, we are simply ZTN. And on Twitter, we are at The Couch. Well, today, the show, we discuss how Zimbabwe can unlock the full value of the Warriors brand. And to help us do that, we have the Couch squad of Momoyo and Makomborero Muchimkule. I'm really happy to see you guys.
Shasha, I'm so happy to see you. I missed you, you know.
I miss you too.
I missed you. I don't even know what to say. Thanks.
Okay.
It's good to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
Mo always says that to everyone. I don't even know what to say. So what are you saying? The moment you say I don't even know what to say,
At least I haven't
shut
said
up.
anything
Welcome
like
back,
that.
Shamin.
Thank you,
I
guys.
haven't said anything like that to
And
you.
where were you last week? I think you missed out.
Wow. I could have destroyed
You are
that.
that
I could have
unused,
destroyed that guy.
unused the substitute. He was here, but he was like, unused the substitute.
Well, we'll be talking a lot today. But remember, guys, we have our guest artist as usual. And today we have Tammy Moyo, who is live from the UK. Hello, Tammy.
Hi guys.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you guys?
We're good. We're good. How's the UK?
Oh my goodness, it's tough. It's pretty cold. It's been raining lately. I am in quarantine, in isolation, so there's been a lot of thinking, a lot of dancing around and making noise in here, just sitting down to meditate. But it's great. Looking forward to an amazing festival here for Zimfest. That's why I'm here. So I'm excited about that, and I've been preparing for it. But otherwise, everything is okay.
How many days have you been in quarantine now?
Can you believe today's day 9?
Oh, and you still
And I've got a 10-day period of quarantine, so my quarantine ends tomorrow.
Oh, at least it's coming to an end now.
Definitely. I'm excited.
So what have you been up to? You've been dancing and what, sleeping?
Well, basically, I've been working. Hey, it's hectic on my end, having to work on the other side of the world when you've got so much going on here at home. They're at home, but I've been working, getting ready for the show. Trying to get my body and my mind in the right place and in the right space. Communicating with people, obviously taking in interviews online. Just really sad that I don't get to see your beautiful faces today in person, but. All the same, happy to be here. I've been working, been watching a little bit of Netflix for a change. I have some time to myself there, and just catching up with friends and relatives and family. So, yeah, that's it.
I guess it's necessary sometimes to do that. Well, I have to congratulate you, on the Zimoko endorsement. I mean, how did that go, and how did you actually get the endorsement, and how's it going for you?
So that's a big one for me. So excited and so grateful for it. I got a call at the beginning of June this year, what my management did, and they said, we'd like you guys to come in, and we went for a short meeting, and they basically discussed what they would like to do, how they would like to partner, and they basically said that they've been in quite a process of trying to pick someone who they think can represent and align with them pretty well for 2 years. So it was such a shock for me, because you never know, you never know when opportunity is going to strike. So for the past 2 years, they've been watching from the terraces and just deciding whether or not, to engage. So that's how it came about. And I kept it on the down low for a really long time, because I was like, is this really happening? Fingers crossed that it's going to happen. And it did. I waited up until the announcement for me to officially make noise about it. So, yeah, that's how it came about.
Wow, well done on that one. So, we're going to be talking to you more during the show, but I also don't want to something.
Okay. Yeah, I've been working a little bit in quarantine, so if you can sing along, then do so. This one is called Gongola. Yeah. used to be one of those who were under. Motivated cause I wanna be a pop star. Shana cause I wanna be on the top. So I keep my head low, work on my clothing. I'll be swimming with the big fish. Knock on the doors, him and he knows. He knows either I'll be chilling in the big league. Oh, I feel it in the music playing. I feel it in my body moving. I hear it in my soul when singing. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Ring ring, it's a phone caller. Cause I work for my own dollar. Yeah, ain't no sleep cause the gender. Living life she come on to the. Yeah, ring ring is a phone caller. Cause I work for my own dollar. Yeah, ain't no sleep cause the gender. Yeah. Hey, away, away, yeah, away, away, yeah. Away, away,
Very much. That's Tammy Moore live from the UK. Yeah, we're connecting via Zoom. Just stay there, Tammy. We'll come back and talk more about the festival that's happening there. And obviously, I know you've got a big project that's coming up, the Vudzijena. So we'll be talking about that. Yeah. So today we are saying, are we unlocking the value of the Warriors brand? Is Zimbabwe unlocking the value of the Warriors brand? So Zimbabwe is a player in the English Premier League, Marvelous Nakamba, that plays for Aston Villa. In France, there is also Tino Kadewere, who plays for one of the giants there, Lyon. And we've got Knowledge Musona, who was in Belgium before his recent move to the Middle East. Marshall Monetis that started their realms in the French League One as well. Teenage Hadebe recently moved to Turkey, from Turkey to the US. So these are the Warriors that we've got, Charmaine, that are probably playing at the highest level.
Yeah, and the following questions, you know, we have posed for Zimbabwe Football Association. What is Ziffa's plan to unlock the true value of the Warriors brand and the field of play and commercially? You know, there seems to be a tendency to use the brand as an experimental platform or marketing platform or mediocre players. So how far true is that? Players like Nakamba and Kadewere give huge technical and commercial value to their clubs. So what is the association doing to derive the same value? How important is it for the association to work on improving the country's ranking? And if so, what is the plan of action?
The campaign of the Zimbabwe Warriors team this year wasn't going well, with the COSAFA Cup crashing out. We have seen the performances of the team not as what we expected it to be. But coming into this African Cup of Nations and the World Cup qualifiers, how can Zimbabwe unlock the true potential of the Warrior squad? Well, today we take a walk in the streets of Harare, asking people what they think of this current matter.
Unangari a big player, but that's not that love for national team. Kwezeta umwe munhu anenge achitambira kana Harare City, but ane love yekungoti atambire nyika yake ane fuwe futi. So sometimes I think vanotora vanhu kuti some that 26 men squad vanofanira kunyatsotarisa kuti vanhu vari kusarudzwa vakamira sei.
Mari ndiyo inoita kuti effort yemunhu ikwire kana kuti idzike. The best way yakomana kwambobhadharwa in advance. Wanzisa? Vasati vaenda kana kutournament kana kugame, mari dzigare dzangopinda. Maybe inozononoka yekupinda yoka ndiye bonus, but yekuti izvoni munhu atamba bhora ngaigare yapinda. Ndototi vanhu vaise effort. Bhora ririmo, talent ririmo, but mari ndiyo inosimudzira morale yemunhu.
If you say potential Warriors players atinawo muZimbabwe, I'm very surprised kuti selection yacho, how do they do the selection? Anonoona ma players achitamba kuma leagues kwavari uku. Like munhu amene kwaanenge achitamba kuzvinyika uko, you don't know kuti is it a competitive league or ndezvekutsvaga mari ngoti awake oimba. So tiri kuti isusu talent irimo muZimbabwe, but tiri kuita problem yekuti tiri kuvhunduka kuti foreign base is playing in Europe. Which Europe now? Because vamwe vanogona kutokundwa nevanhu vari kutamba bhora kuSA, vanogona kukundwa bhora rekutamba nemunhu ari kuDynamos. Saka I don't know kuti ari kuadvisa the coach paselection ndiani.
tina anonzi munetsi uyawe kana achitamba netimu iri kutikurira kuataka anofanira kuisa Marvelous naKamba Munetsi vese mutimu. Kamusoko otamba ari pamberi pavo so that Kamusoko ndiye achanga achifidha mastriker edu akafanana na Knowledge Musona Kadewere. Ku left side akaisa muvana anonzi Chawapiwa uya anogona kutibatsira pakumhanya apo. Kamabhiriad akamirirawo ari pabench kuda Mahachi akamirirawo ari pabench. I think team yedu inenge yakanaka zvisingaiti.
Now, being in consideration of numerous factors that have been discussed by the people, are some of these players patriotic enough to play for the national team with their value at hand? And do these team managers select players that are from Europe just because they are playing in Europe, or they select players due to merit and performance? A lot of questions have been asked, but what do you think, Couch Squad?
Thanks a lot to our reporter Lance Chihande. He was in the streets of Harare this morning and just talking to the fans about the issue that we are talking about today. How can Zimbabwe unlock the true values of the Warriors? The Warriors are the Zimbabwe men's national football team. So first we hear what the fans, we heard what the fans have been saying about these issues, and yeah, they are really, talking about the issues they think are important. But here's a question for you more. Because you played the game and you were a fringe national team player.
That's true. You can emphasize on that. We all talk about you can't talk like that. You don't even know anything. How it feels to represent your country. Come on, guys.
It's fine, guys.
Yeah.
So you look at the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Yeah.
They're a brand on their own. You look at the Elephants of Ivory Coast. They're a brand. When you are talking about African football, people will tell you about those nations. But you talk about the Warriors, people don't really know. Is it because we don't have talent, or we are failing as a nation to unlock the true value of that Warriors brand?
This has got nothing to do with the quality of the players that we have. We've got enough quality in this country to have a very, very big brand. But then, for us to really unlock the brand, we need results. When you've got results, ZIFA just has to make sure that the Warriors are well catered for, the Warriors are in camp in time, the Warriors are paid on time, the Warriors give results. When the team is successful, you will see that everyone will follow them.
So he says that it's got nothing to do with the talent. He talks about ZIFA in this case, are the players having the right preparations? Are they conditioned mentally for whatever they will be hoping to achieve? So in terms of, I want to focus on the talent that he says we've got that in abundance. Because you go to the two nations that I mentioned, Ivory Coast and Nigeria, they can come up with 4 or 5 national teams, of players that are playing outside Nigeria. And we come back to Zimbabwe. We've got players that are playing at the highest level, your Kadeweres, your Nakambas and all that. And then we've got players that are here and players that are in South Africa. You look at that on its own. Can you derive something from that and say, no, this brand is equally good if you want to compare with the Super Eagles?
Look, the Warriors, we love them, but they are not as good as we think they are. Our players, they are good, but they're not good enough. Why do I say so? Because how many players do we have in the Premier League? We've got 1. In France, we've got 2. Where else do we have other players?
South Africa and Zambia.
In Tanzania. Now you're talking about a brand that is celebrated. You like a big game sponsor of apparel to sponsor your team. Who will be their face in the United Kingdom? Marvelous Nakamba. See, that's where then value comes from. You might as well believe, if you're a lady, you believe that you're probably the most beautiful of them all. But does it show? We believe, but it's not showing, is it? Are people clamoring to sponsor us? No. Does this national team fill up the National Sports Stadium? No, it does not. So where is the value that we're talking about? First things first, let this team resonate with the nation to say Zimbabwe is playing. Back in the days of the Dream Team, all colors of people from all parts of the world, supporting this team, then that was the value. If then your value of your Warriors is 20,000 people in a 60,000 seater stadium, yeah, that should be your value then.
Right. We'll come to that, and probably you then explain, what you really mean when you say 20,000. Do you derive value from that, or probably you look at the brand of football itself? That Lesotho comes here and probably you fail to beat Lesotho. Namibia come here, they beat you. Zambia come here, they beat you. So what is it that, those 20,000 are going out there,
We've never had so many players playing outside the country, ever, in our country. We've never, not like, what we are having now has always been the status quo. It has always been like that. The dream team the dream team that is talking about.
Right?
It doesn't make it right. But the dream team that you're talking about managed to do that with the same players, the same numbers of players. Peter Love in the UK, Nomin Mapesa in Turkey, very few players outside the country. But they really managed to rally the country behind them. Why? Because they were producing results.
Did they produce results? Do you know?
No.
For all intents and purposes, the dream team was a failure. Do you know that?
No. Wait.
They qualified for nothing.
Okay, but
they won nothing.
But exactly.
But they made us believe.
But they were winning. Why were we going to watch them? We knew that at the National Sports Stadium, when the dream team is playing, they're going to win, and we would always want to be there. And corporates would come. They would put money in.
What did you say about the dream team?
They're failures. They're failures. Did they play at AFCON? No. Did they win anything? No. But they made us believe.
Okay.
We're going to be talking more about that. And then we're also going to be talking to Tammy after the break.
For May, transforming men into gentlemen.
Welcome back. You're watching The Couch on Zimpapers Television Network, and today we are discussing how Zimbabwe can unlock the full value of the Warriors brand. And joining us on the show as well is Tammy. Are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
All right. So can you tell us, about Zim Festival? What exactly is it about?
So Zimfest is basically a cultural celebration of who we are as a people, our culture, what makes us who we are as Zimbabweans, from the food to the dressing to the music to the artists. So it's a large festival, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, festival for Zimbabweans here in the UK. So it happens annually. On the last weekend of July, and this year it's happening on the 31st of July, and the lineup is pretty insane. All Zimbabwean artists and all Zimbabwean DJs, and it's just going to be a fire set. That's what Zimfest is about.
That's interesting. So have you ever performed there? Or it's your first time?
No, I'm actually making my debut this weekend at Zimfest, which is pretty tense, but exciting.
Are you nervous?
Very, very, as you can see, I've been putting in the work, I've been putting in the hours. I just hope it's going to be a good one. I pray it's going to be a good one.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good one. So, about a week ago, I noticed you posted something on your YouTube channel, Vudijena. What exactly is that about? Is it a movie, a video, or what?
I'm so surprised that a lot of people are asking me if it's a movie or not. So basically, I tried to create a collaboration between film and music to create a visual project that has audio to it as well. So it's called a visual album. And I'm excited for that. It's called Vuzijena the Face, which talks about obviously the white hair. You know, a lot of people ask me what's up with that, and I always fail to put it into words, but I think the music is going to speak for itself. I think it's basically a phase in my life that, you know, I transitioned from being school-going young lady to this young lady who's finally in the big world. So that's what Vuzijena is about. It's my visual album.
Okay, so this is phase 1. There's probably going to be phase 2, phase 3.
Yes.
Oh, great, great. So, Tammy, you know, from being a musician, you ventured into acting, and now, you know, you've got brands endorsing you. I mean, how do you balance, you know, with all those things going on?
I think it's just a matter of knowing what you want to achieve and making sure you have the right people behind you, because just like what you guys were saying, teamwork makes the dream work.
True,
you guys were talking about the dream team back then. You're only as strong as your team is, or as your weakest player is. And so, you know, for me to strike that balance, I need to have somebody managing one aspect of this and one aspect of that, which is great. And I have a really strong team behind me. And I know where I want to go. I know what I want to attain and achieve for myself. So I always make sure to plan in good time. I always make sure that my team is aware of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, and just basically, you know, praying for strength, because at the end of the day, it's tough. It's not an easy job. So you just pray for strength, and you do what you need to do on a daily basis. You be organized. You communicate as well. You work as a team.
Oh, that's great. I know you'll do very well. So we'll be talking to you more, Tammy. Right now we go back to Howard.
All right, so thanks a lot, Tammy. So there are concerns that the Warriors brand is being taken lightly. And we then had to look for Ziva spokesperson Xolisani Gwesela about the issue. And we asked him what the association has done so far to unlock the true value of the Warriors brand in the field of play and also commercially.
Yes, I would like to confirm that Warriors are indeed a very big brand, which should naturally attract a number of sponsors. But let me explain it this way. We used to have quite a number of sponsors for our clubs, for the beautiful game of football, for the national team in the past. But Ziva does not operate outside the dictates or outside the Zimbabwean economy. We operate within the Zimbabwean economy itself, which has seen most sporting bodies losing a number of sponsors in the previous years, largely due to dwindling economy and a number of companies that used to sponsor football that are no longer sponsoring football due to their finances that they've dwindled. We used to have BAT in the past, we used to have Tanganda, we used to have Derryboard sponsoring sporting bodies, but we no longer have those sporting bodies. Sporting bodies are no longer benefiting from those sponsorships. Ziva is not an independent entity on its own. It operates, as I've explained, within the Zimbabwean economy. What is happening in football is a macrocosm of the macrocosm. It's a macrocosm of what is happening entirely within our economy, where we have seen these sponsors dwindling. Nevertheless, it is our appeal to all corporate sponsors or individuals who want to partner football to come on board and develop the beautiful game of football.
So that's Ziva spokesperson Xolisani Gwesela, yeah, and a lot of microcosms and of the microcosms, and yeah, and a lot of tripping there. So he's trying to talk on the commercial side of the Warriors brand, that because probably the economy not doing so well, it's also translating to the Warriors. They are also, you know, being affected by that.
Oh, look, Gwesela is waffling for all intents and purposes. the microcosm of the microcosm. I just wanted to point out, this interview was done at Ziffa House. Is it?
Yep.
Did you see the Ziffa House? The state that it is in. And you are a corporate. Would you send your CEO there to negotiate business at a place that looks like a Shabinde? We're talking about value, aren't we? There's Safa House. The Zambians have got their Zambian Football Association house. And we have a place where the headquarters of our association is, and it looks dingy like that. Who takes you seriously? Never mind the economy. How do you have an HQ that looks such shabby? Now we're talking about value. Who takes you seriously? If you cannot put blinders or curtains or whatever, or just spruce up your home, who takes you seriously? Now you talk about the economy. Well, there were days when people were singing "Go Warriors, Go." Was the economy in a better shape than now? No, it wasn't. Those times were worse. But the Warriors, they have supporters, they had, and sponsors too. Why? Because sponsors go where the eyes are. Do we stop watching football because the economy is in a bad state? Do we stop playing? No, we play. Are they advertising boards when these guys play? Yes, they are. Do people advertise? Yes, they do advertise. Because there is business to be done. But you cannot take Ziffa seriously when they just don't do things right.
So, the Premier Soccer League, which is an affiliate of the Zimbabwe Football Association, they've got a couple of sponsors. Zimbabwe Football Association don't have any sponsors. Why is that?
Nobody wants to be associated with mediocrity. You know, this is the biggest reason why the Warriors brand will not grow. Because for you to get to the Warriors brand, you have to go through Ziffa. And nobody wants to be associated with Ziffa. Why? Because they are not transparent in the way they do their business. They are not professional in the way they present themselves. There is always controversy in how they. You see, Gwesela was there. He was. He blamed the economy. He says we are not getting sponsors because of the economy. Howard, did you buy today's newspaper? Okay, all the newspapers, they've got advertisements. They've got adverts. All newspapers. Have you been driving around? Companies are busy. The billboards are all over the place. Because there's value. There's money out there. But people don't put money where they are not, where they don't know how their money is going to be used. They are not safe.
Right. So this is the commercial side.
Yes.
Yes. Because we have seen Bafana, even they are funny, the way they are, Bafana. But they've got sponsors.
They do have.
But Gwesela says maybe it's their economy.
No. Do you know what? The other time when we were at AFCON, should be in Equatorial Guinea where there was disturbances in Ivory Coast. There was some sort of a war going on. And the Ayatollah said, you know what, football, to us, we need to win this final. Because it guarantees 5 days of peace back at home. Why do they have sponsors? Because there is value in it. Even in countries where war is raging, football is played. And the national team has got sponsors. So how do you blame the economy? What else would they blame now?
All right, players like Nakampa and Kadewere give huge technical and commercial value to their clubs. So what is the association doing to derive the same value?
You know, these players are contracted with their own clubs. Ziffa, they come on a short-term basis. But use of these players, it depends with the agreements that they have with their own sponsors and the sponsors that they have within their own clubs. But nevertheless, as Ziffa, as I have explained, should we have any cooperative sponsors that are willing to partner us, indeed, we will ensure that we fully utilize these players for the development of our brand and for the development of Ziffa itself. It is my appeal once more that Ziffa is open to all cooperative sponsors to come and partner the beautiful game of football so that we develop football, and football contributes to the GDP of our own economy. So let's fully utilize football for the development of our economy.
And we also asked Gwesela to comment on the tendency to use the brand as an experimental platform or marketing platform for mediocre players. And we said, how far true is that?
The technical team, as a ZIFA, we take pride in the independence of the technical team. They make their own decisions. What we expect from them are results. But for the definition of a mediocre player, I don't know what a mediocre player is. And I don't think we have any mediocre players. We have serious players that we will continuously develop, that we believe will give us results.
ZIFA spokesperson Xolisani Gwesela now is talking about the issue of players. You know, there's been allegations that there are certain players that are always coming to the national team, and I think the term that defines these players is mediocre. So that means whatever they will be doing, they won't give the results that people out there want to see. So here's the thing, because the past couple of weeks, the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about the coaches, as Zdravko Logarušić, and how he got to be here. Maybe let's start from there. Yes, we're going to come to the players, and you have players that are playing at the highest level. Nakamba at Aston Villa, you've got Kadewere at Lyon in France, and they bring in a certain value to the Warriors, a value probably that Forme has seen, and that's why they are associated with Tino Kadewere, or that's why they are coming to the Warriors. Then probably there's also somebody else who's trying to partner those players. But then you've got a coach that comes. ZIFA flights an advert. We are looking for a coach, and there are certain characters that come, and you ask yourself, why is it Capello is not coming to Zimbabwe? Why is it maybe Sam Allardyce is not applying for that same job?
Yeah, and that should confirm your value, shouldn't it not? That should confirm your value. What type of characters do you attract? You attract guys who celebrate taking Sudan to third place at Chan. But having done that, Sudan fired the guy. Said, look, no, we can't do this. I mean, you can also measure your value by how many teams want to play you in friendly matches. Who do you play? Mozambique? Zambia? Do the big guys call you to come and play? No, they don't. They don't see value in play. Even your cousins down south, they rarely play you in friendly internationals. That's the value that we're talking about. How does your team dress when they're traveling? They look like Skorwa in the Civic Taker. Everybody's dressed in their own way. There is no quality. They don't have chinos like we do. They don't even have blazers from ZIFA. So what value are you talking about? Have you ever seen a traveling bag, Warriors? No, they just look like boys who are strolling going
but
somewhere.
Now they've got a technical sponsor.
Do you see it? Okay, when we're going to play a clip of the guys at training, do we see it? I mean, it's not there, Howard. It's not there. Would you go and buy the national team jersey now because of how they do it, of how they are playing? No, you don't. You don't feel like you want to be associated with them because they lose to countries like Malawi and COSAFA. Would you want to be seen wearing that jersey? Some of us, when Man U loses, we don't wear the jersey. It's just simple.
Are we putting the right importance when it comes to the Warriors? Are we prioritizing them?
You know how if the National Association does not prioritize the Warriors, then who else can prioritize the Warriors? Because what Gwesela is talking about, we were saying there are players that we feel are not supposed to be representing the country, but are actually playing. Okay? That's because they selected a coach who was not supposed to be coaching the national team. So, you know, when Gwesela is talking about everything, ZIFA is not to blame in any way. I don't see how these guys don't see what they are doing wrong. It's always somebody else and not ZIFA. Does ZIFA have a marketing team? What are they doing? Do they wait for, the Warriors are playing next month? Everybody knows that. But you will find out when they come, they will not be able to train at the National Sports Stadium because Zifa is not paid. All those things, they culminate into the product, the Warriors. And he's talking about, he took his time to pitch. He took this time for the couch to pitch to sponsors.
Utilize every opportunity that you get.
And then he doesn't talk about why, as corporates, we should sponsor Zifa. Why should we put our money there? What's the value? Where's the value? Where's the value? Why do you want me to come and say I'm going to put... Why? Nothing. He's just saying, you should come, we are willing, you know. This lack of seriousness will not get us anywhere. So for that brand, Warriors, to actually improve and be visible and attract any form of traction, it needs to start from Zifa.
Well, the result of those poor results have been a ranking that doesn't explain the Warriors' quality. And we asked the technical director how important is it for the association to work on improving the country's ranking, and if so, what is the plan of action?
It is very, very important to improve the rankings of our team of the Warriors. Very, very important. Why? Because, you know, in terms of seeding for any tournament, and the rankings is also considered. Two, when it comes to even players moving into other professional leagues, they also look at ranking. So it's very, very essential. And the way we feel we can improve the rankings is to make sure we, from now on, we continue to engage other nations that are highly ranked than us in terms of organizing preparatory matches on FIFA calendars and windows, to also make sure when we participate in tournaments, we try and do better. That also improves our ranking. And again, we know very well that when you do well against highly ranked teams, you will get a better ranking. I think that's the best way and the only way that we can do in terms of improving the rankings.
So that's the Zifa technical director Wilson Mutekere talking about the ranking. I don't really understand this ranking issue. Yes, is something else. He's talking about having friendly, what he called preparatory matches with better ranked nations, so that we try and get positive results, and at the end of the day we get a better ranking. And I don't really understand that you've got teams like Zambia, Malawi, or whatever other team that are ranked higher than Zimbabwe.
Yeah, that's the price you pay for winning once in 12 games. It's not rocket science, is it? I mean, it's not rocket science. Why are they higher than us? You've won once in 12. During the same period, these guys have probably won 8 times. And every victory carries with it some points. This is not boxing where you say, I want to fight Anthony Joshua. If I beat him, I'm the world champion. I'm facing more, I beat Shamay. I'm collecting points. And very soon, probably, I'm in the top 10. And Senegal say, wait a minute, who is this guy who's coming up? Maybe let's play him. But right now, you've got your Senegalese team that has most of its players in Europe. Where are most of the Senegalese friendly matches played? In Europe. Why? Because that's where the bulk of the players are.
So these friendlies that you're talking about are normally played.
These are high quality friendlies.
The international, friendly days.
Yes.
How come we don't play when those dates are up? How come we don't play? Do you even, how far can you go as you try to remember the last time we utilized a FIFA calendar day?
That's been York.
What is the problem?
There are many reasons. One, Zifa cannot afford to bring the players for the friendlies. All those guys that are in Europe or even knowledge in Asia, they can't bring them for those friendlies. Two,
because they don't have money?
I don't know. Two, because we are not an attractive team to play with. Nobody really wants to play us. You find when we are preparing for our matches, we play versus Ngezi, versus FC Platinum, versus the national team, versus our local clubs, because we do not attract. We are not big enough to attract any sensible team to play us during those calendars. All the other teams are occupied, so we don't have anyone else to play with. We have got a reasonable ranking, so we will not play these friendlies. It's not like, and you know, the worst bit is Zifa will come out in August with a begging bow, saying they don't even have a cent to host the match against South Africa. We don't have anything. But they are doing nothing about it. You expect me to just come and give you money just because you're Zifa?
And playing South Africa is a big deal, isn't it? Because of the coverage that it brings,
exactly.
Because of the eyes and the broadcasting rights of the guys who are in SA who want to watch this game. This should be huge. Okay, fair and fine. What is the theme of our World Cup campaign? What is the theme?
Are we
Let's go to Qatar. Is it? Why? What is the theme?
Loga is building for the future.
For the future. What are we going to wear for the World Cup campaign? The same gear that Umbro gave us. Isn't there something special for the World Cup campaign? Are there promotions for the World Cup campaign?
There's nothing.
Is there noise about the World Cup campaign? No, there isn't.
You are supposed to be making noise.
No.
On their behalf?
No.
On their behalf?
On Zimbabwe's behalf.
No. Zifa is supposed to be working.
What you can do is just to report on them. I just wanted to highlight when Mo was speaking. The Warriors team bus, what is it?
The last we heard, there was that legacy bus that came. And
Have they used it? Because the last time
I saw it at some auction in Granite Side somewhere there.
Yeah,
being sold there.
No,
I don't know what it was
being hidden there.
No, it's hidden there. It's being hidden there.
When your national team travels in a rentals college bus to represent you.
Now they are using the Caps bus.
Now, thanks to Nyashamshe. There is everything wrong with that. In Egypt, the national team bus, you all stand and say, this bus, and boys will be playing. They always dream of getting a place on that bus. But if it's a rentals bus, who dreams? Who dreams of that?
Those guys that are playing in the national team, the core of that team, they are being owed by Zifa right now as we are speaking. They are being owed, but they are still calling them to increase the debt. They will play against South Africa, maybe grinder is out, and you still owe them. Again, you're just piling on the debt on Zifa.
We'll talk about
Will you be inspired to keep on coming and give your all for that Warrior team? No, you can't be a Warrior like that.
All right. When we come back, we talk to former Warriors coach Joey Antipas to get his views. So stay with us here on ZTN.
Welcome back. You're watching The Couch on Zimpapers Television Network, where we are discussing how Zimbabwe can unlock the full value of the Warriors brand.
Yeah, but remember the Couch Squad is here and we are discussing this, and some points are my jab, my uppercut.
No, you know what? We owe it to the nation to say things as they are, to fix these things. If you're going to have a media that bootlicks Zifa because they want to get tickets to go and watch South Africa when you travel to COSAF, you are doomed. And that's one thing that we don't have. We have a situation where the Zifa president and his vice and whoever in the Zifa board can go for 6 months without being taken into account. And you have Gwesela coming to talk about the microcosm of the microcosm. It's too junior a boy to talk about policy. All he can do is spin and spew some Zifa propaganda, which has dismally failed to do as well. So when you have that running your football, we are in trouble.
I tell you what, let's now go over to former Warriors coach Joey Antipas to hear his take on the issue. Joey, what is the starting point to achieve this?
I would say, yeah, we have to be more professional in our approach, and this all starts with the ZIFA board. Definitely, we need to get our act together. Once we get our act together, we can definitely unlock the value, because it starts with the administrators. Once the administrators put their house in order and bring the boys on, because what's happening is, what we're reading about the ZIFA board is they're always in the courts trying to save their lives. So we don't need a situation like that when we have the Warriors team that we do have.
Do you think the Warriors have quality players that could propel them up the rankings that we've been talking about?
Yeah, definitely we do have the quality players in our ranks, and with guys like Captain Knowledge, Tino, Kama, Ovidi, we have the experience there. They've got some good quality, they've got some good mileage behind them. I believe we can definitely do great. If you also look at Marvelous is a brilliant player, and these guys, they can definitely do good things for us. But once again, it starts with that professional approach. With players coming into camp, they must be on good vibes. When I talk about good vibes, they must be motivated, they must be up for it, and they must be ready to play for the country. But that, as I said, that all comes with good preparations. Yeah, we need to mix and mingle our team. We need experience and the youth. If you look at the experienced guys that we have Knowledge, Kama, Ovidi, Teenage, Marvelous. Those guys have gained the experience playing with their teams and playing through the Warriors. And I definitely believe that we can shock a lot of sides. But once again, it's planning and preparation, which is very, very vital.
So those players that you have mentioned, how important is it to mix their experience and those that are upcoming?
Very important. You definitely have to mix up the experience and younger players. I mean, you got a guy like Tino who's younger than the rest, and he's on top of his game. The form that he's showing, that he showed last season at Lyon. Tino is our money maker. Definitely we'll be able to do well in the World Cup qualifiers and in AFCON that's coming up 2022. I believe we can get ourselves in the knockout stages, but once again, if you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. So this hinges with the ZIFA board. The monies must be ready, players must not be disgruntled like what they had in Egypt last AFCON. So I believe with the right planning and preparation, we can do very, very well.
And can we say Zimbabwe Warriors are the strongest team in the region?
I believe the Warriors are the best team in Southern Africa. We've beaten South Africa, we've beaten Zambia, who are supposed to be the powerhouses in Southern Africa. And this could have been some time ago, but still we can definitely do it with the quality players that we have available.
Joey Antipas, former Warriors coach, he's now in charge of Chicken Inn. Thanks so much for joining us. So yeah, he mentions a lot of things, but there is one thing that's been consistent in everything. He was always coming back to the ZIFA board. Yeah. So we are talking about, unlocking the true value, of the Warriors brand. How can Zimbabwe unlock that? And now he says, look at the ZIFA board. Do we have the right people there?
Well, I think, excuse me, I think we're in trouble. We have people who are happy to be there and they are comfortable there. And why are they comfortable? Because you're making it comfortable for them. We, the media, the fans. Because some of the things that they are getting away with, when your coach wins once in 12 games, there should be pandemonium. Questions must be asked. Now I've got your technical committee that said they've recommended something to the FIFA board. What have they recommended? At what speed are they moving? And you have a guy who is planning for the future. The future, you know how many weeks away it is now? It's 7 weeks away. So that's the trouble that we have. So when the ZIFA board is not visible, so where do the sponsors find them? At ZIFA. You would expect some corporate guy to drive whatever from Kensington to go to ZIFA to say, you know what, I would like to partner you. ZIFA must be selling themselves to these corporates.
So do you think the guys there at ZIFA, the ZIFA board, from the president going down, do they understand the value of the product they've got? Because the end product for Zimbabwe Football Association, yes, you might do, but it's those teams, you know, the Zimbabwe Senior Men's National Team, the Mighty Warriors, and those are the products that ZIFA has got. Do they really understand what needs to be done or the value of that brand?
Yeah, they do understand the value of that brand in terms of the money that they get from FIFA, and it stops there. That's all. Because they survive on that money. So once that money comes in and they do their dynamics, they line up their pockets, for them it's good enough. They don't know how big, how huge, how all the 16 million in this country look forward to that brand rising up. They don't know how we feel when we are losing like we are losing. They don't know how we feel when somebody comes and tells you that the national team he's doing experiments for the national team for the future. If you want to plan for the future, go and do the under-17s and the under-20s. Don't play with our warriors. So I don't want to believe that the ZIFA board really knows the value of the brand warriors. They don't. And like Mafero said, you know, it starts with the ZIFA board. He couldn't say he's odd, but he's odd because he was the previous coach for the Warriors. He's odd, and those guys are not giving him his money. Why? So there is a problem there. They are always in the courts. They are always fighting battles. They can't focus on the real thing.
So Makombare, I want you to think about what Mo has been talking about. Because, you know, most of the time we always talk about, yes, there's this money that's coming from FIFA. Yes, there's money that's coming from FIFA. So from what Mo is saying, ZIFA has got money that comes from FIFA. But more often than not, we hear ZIFA, whenever there is a tournament or the national team wants to go somewhere, there's always a begging bowl. So just think about that whilst Charmaine takes us through some of the comments that are coming through on Facebook.
Yeah, we have Leonard Kwani. They're saying we have the talent, but we do not have the coaches to scout the talent. This is a very big problem in Zimbabwe, and we must start improving this area. Okay. See, Tatenda Agapangura saying Maringa vapiwe vasati vaenda ku tournament. Okay. Okay, Tatenda again, Loga Aribo, but Ngacha game assistant coaches Ake. Okay. Team Ikagadzirisa Pama results brand Ronokura.
So it's more like, you know, it's got to do with ZIFA because all these things are about preparation and all that, and it comes back to ZIFA and probably the board. Now that issue that we were talking about, ZIFA, do they have money? And where is their money coming from? Is FIFA giving ZIFA some money?
I believe they are getting some money from ZIFA, from FIFA rather. The question is it enough? I don't know. But they do they get their books, or did they say they do? Yeah, they do. So maybe it's not showing, which is a big question. Does it show that these guys have got money? Maybe they do, but is it showing? Is it getting to the end product where the players are happy? Like good vibes, what Mafero was talking about. There are no good vibes. These guys will play, I know for certain that even if they're not getting to get paid, they'll go and play South Africa and beat them because they want to play against South Africa. Against Zambia, they feel we need to do the business because these guys, they believe they're the powerhouses of Southern Africa. They can beat them. But are they happy? I don't think they're happy. It shows. In the simple things. After training, when you say, come, let's have interviews, then they're not happy. The boys are not happy. And it's not all about the money, but if they've given you service, give them the money. And one thing now is, probably one thing they are considering, if we're going to fire Loga, who are you going to get? Because Sunday Chidzambwe, you owe him. No man, you owe him.
Yeah, Sunday again says I'm retired.
Yeah, you owe him. And if the West comes to the Callisto Pasua, you owe him. Antipas, you treated him like a reg. You also owe him. Okay, fair and fine. If the West comes to the West, what other football associations will do will turn to their technical director to be their coach. Who is your technical director?
Yeah, we've got a technical director. They would tend to Wilson Tegeta.
Can he be the national team coach?
He is the technical director.
It's debatable.
But yeah, it's debatable.
You see now, that's where we are starting to say he's your TD. In a country like this, where we've got so many people, is he the right man for the job?
I want to argue that point, because I think if you look at the TD, in terms of the qualifications that are needed for that post, he has got everything. I think even more than what is needed for the job of technical director. The only challenge is he allowed to do his job independently?
What is his job, by the way?
There's a lot of interference from the powers that be at above the top Ziffa.
What do you mean
they direct everything that did you look at Gwesela? Do you think Gwesela really wants to say that?
The microcosm.
He couldn't even say anything because he is gagged. He can't say this, he can't say that.
Or maybe there's nothing to say.
No, there's a lot to say, but he can't say it. So, there's somebody there behind saying, go and tell them we want sponsors there. And that's all you are going to say.
Because they want
So sponsors. These guys, in as much as we want, the other operatives at Ziffa, they are gagged. They can't say anything. But those at Malan...
Yeah, but I think more is on to something. What did Loga say? What was he sitting that side, isn't it?
Yeah.
He said, he said...
What does the site have anything to do with?
I just wanted to give you the picture. He said, I was told that those people
who eat you for breakfast.
Yeah.
All right.
So who told you? Yeah, who told you?
Let's go to Tammy. Let's go back to Tammy more.
Oh, yeah, Tammy. Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm still here.
So, you've done a lot of, you've done some good collaborations, with some of the big guns here in Zimbabwe, the likes of Jah Prayzah. Are we going to be seeing more of that locally, regionally, or even internationally?
Oh, it's always a good thing to collaborate. I definitely do hope that in future I can work with much bigger names than myself, than exploring a little bit into the international market. And yes, obviously locally, there's going to be a lot of that, got to support each other. So yeah, there will be plenty more.
Great. So, just looking at your videos in general, there's a lot of creativity there. I mean, from the dressing and, everything. Is there like a team behind that, or you actually come up with your own ideas?
Well, obviously, I'm a bit of a control freak, so I like to be the brains behind the idea, and obviously the execution. I have a team for that. So I've worked with the best of the best, from Andy Kada to Simba G, and in terms of styling, I work with BLVK, Black Consultants a lot, headed by Danai Chapika Madondo. And yeah, my management as well, they're doing a lot of running up and down. I've worked with some of the best choreographers in the country as well, Sean Mabwere. So yeah, I do have a strong team, like I said earlier on, behind me.
Well, I must applaud you guys. You're doing a great job. You do a lot of things in the arts industry. I'm talking about music, acting, and everything. Can you say, it's lucrative in a way? Does it really pay off for you?
It does. Music beyond entertainment is a business as well. And I'm fortunate enough to have my management venture into officiating what we have. I was set up with M&J Media, if you follow on Instagram. You just have to have the right mindset towards it. And if you accept that it's not a lone man's game, then you're headed in the right direction. It can become something substantial. Obviously, every strong brand has a management team, has PR behind them, and you need all of those structures in order for you to realize the financial benefit of whatever it is that you're doing. It's a business at the end of the day, so it is. If you set yourself up well and with the right people, you can do something.
Great. We're wrapping up now. What advice would you give to, a young woman out there who's trying to follow their dreams?
Just stay true and authentic to your journey in this life. I see a lot of people experiencing a lot of pressure on social media. Even I'm not immune to that, but your race is your race. And when your time comes, make sure you're prepared, because I always say opportunity favors the prepared. So make sure that you're getting ready for your time. Make sure that you're putting in the hours. Make sure that you're not looking next door. And if you are, it's only to appreciate what's happening there, not to compare, because comparison is the stealer and killer of all dreams and joy. So do you remain focused, know what you want, and never take no for an answer.
I'm sure the young women out there heard that. So if people want to find you, on social media, where do they find you?
Follow me on Instagram, and please subscribe to my YouTube, because the 16th of August 2021, Vusi Jena is coming out. So I'm just urging people to go on my YouTube, go watch the trailer as well. Vusi Jena The Phase, trailer 1, go and watch it. That's TAMYMOYO, Tammy Moyo on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube.
All right, Tammy, thank you so much for joining us today. We loved having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, it has been great having you on the couch. Please do join us again next week right here to discuss deep football issues. My name is Shamanisha Sweka.
Yeah, maybe before we go, is she related to you? More, Tammy Moyo?
Yeah, Tammy is my sister.
Oh, God.
I just wanted to say. I just wanted to say.
It's fine. It's okay.
Okay, guys. Okay, guys. Okay, you see the bands that you go. No, we are not related.
Now you're being selective.
Come on, guys. Why are you putting me on spot? There is my sister there. I just want to say to her, represent the country well and represent the family. Your car is in Sheffield.
Thanks a lot, guys, for coming through to the show. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And yes, Moyo is my brother. Oh, definitely.
And Peter Moyo and the other Moyos.
It's a big family.
It's a big family, big talented family.
We have to be selective. If you're going to take Tammy, take Peter.
No, come on. The couch is back again next week. Thank you very much for joining us.